Good afternoon. My name is James Smith Jr. and I'm a student at WGU University. This is my LUT presentation, and today we're going to cover why Vista failed. Now, Microsoft Vista has been destined to fail on a global scale from its beginning. Vista has been in the marketplace for at least 3 years, almost 4 now, and they're forcing the masses to upgrade to this operating system. And companies are slow to integrate the software and the driver updates because of its issues. Microsoft has gone as far as to try to fix the problematic operating system as to not fixing it at all. Now, Windows 7 will be its fix, but we'll cover that in a moment. Basically, what we're going to do today is we're going to cover the hardware requirements for Windows Vista and Windows 7. And also we're going to cover the user access control. Now, generally called the UAC in short, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now, for hardware requirements, basically for Windows XP and Windows Vista were extreme. So when Windows XP came into the picture, it only needed 1 gigahertz of processor speed, 256 to 512 RAM, and a very basic video card. Now all of a sudden Vista came along, and the minimum requirements for Vista to run is a 1 gigahertz processor, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and 128 megabyte video card. Now that's just the basic minimum. Now, in order to run its optimum, in other words, for it to run all of the cool programs and all the things that they need, you would have to actually have a 2 gigahertz processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and at least a 512 or better video card. Now, the issue with that is everybody had to upgrade their machines, and you couldn't downgrade a machine. Not because with Windows XP before you could do that. Now you cannot. Now, however, now Windows 7. Now this is a cool operating system. It's the look of Vista with the use of, or the innards of Windows XP. That's basically how I could explain this to you. I basically wrote down over here. The requirements for this is very simple. It's 1 gigahertz processor minimum 512 RAM, and 128 megabyte video card. However, if you're running a 128 megabyte video card on Windows 7, you might as well have a gaming machine. Now, the more you upgrade, of course, the more speed and power you'll have. The better your gaming or your application, say you're using CAD/CAM or something. Now, the other part I wanted to cover was the user access control, or the UAC. Now, the UAC is kind of tricky. It basically came out with Windows Vista. Now, Windows Vista, it's kind of like if you're changing the registry at any point, Windows Vista says, hey, stop. Are you sure you want to do this? Now, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a safer thing because most people don't want to screw up their registry. Most people don't want to screw up their machines. However, every time that you install a program, guess what? This little click box comes up and says, hey, you sure you want to do this? Well, now with Windows 7, they've changed it. Now Windows 7, you can make 4 different changes. You can have a basic change, or all the way up to a higher change to where it looks like and acts like Vista. Let me ask some questions in the group here. Does anybody have any questions?
How do you adjust the UAC using Windows 7?
Oh, well, you adjust it by clicking on the Start button. Looks just like Vista. Click on the button, go to the control panel, and then click on Users Accounts. When you go to Users Accounts, you will see UAC marked on there. You click on that, and you can make your adjustments. You can go from low, which would be just a small little flag by the clock. It'll kind of tell you, hey, you really don't want to worry too much about it, and then you can go all the way up to, hey, are you sure you want to do this? And then there's 2 in the middle. The default basically is the 2 in the middle. You can have it where it's, if it's a major change in the registry, then it'll flag. Other than that, that's about it. Any more questions?
As a tech, which version of Windows would you recommend?
Oh, well, that's a very good question. Windows 7 I would recommend. It's already in beta. and as a beta tester, I would definitely recommend it to everybody I know. It's less resources. You can use an older computer. You don't have to buy a new computer just for the new operating system. It's very user-friendly. And as of right now, the RC release candidate has just come out, and it looks like it's almost ready for mass production. So everybody can enjoy something that, the way it looks right now, will work wonderfully. Is there any more questions from the group? No? Okay, well then I guess we'll go into the conclusion. I hope I've shown you how Vista and Windows 7 kind of compares. A lot of people don't like Vista because of all of the issues that we've had in the last few years. Windows 7 is definitely the way to go. Just want to check my notes here just to make sure. Make sure this is where we want to be. Yes, so I would like to thank you very much for your time, and have a good day. Thank you very much.